Well, this is not the video you're expecting. The format of this will be quite simple. I will go through the World Cup playoffs for UEFA, then I'll go to CONCACAF, and then we'll conclude with CONMEBOL. Well, let's not waste any time. UEFA. So, bit of context. There are 12 teams, each split into 3 different playoff paths, each containing 4 teams. There is a semi-final and a final. The 3 winners of the finals go to the World Cup. The ties are now on screen. However, bit of housekeeping. Poland automatically go through to their final and don't play their game against Russia for obvious reasons. Vladdy the Baddie has brought war back to Europe. First off, Path A. The first game is Scotland versus Ukraine, which for obvious reasons isn't being played this month. Scotland are a very interesting bunch because they are definitely the sum of their parts. You look at their team sheet and while they have got a couple of good players in there, you do look at the team sheet and think that they're very beatable, but they work hard, they actually play some decent football, and they've got a few really good results recently. In November, I believe, they beat Denmark 2-0, which Denmark got to the semi-finals of the Euros, so they're no pushovers. Steve Clarke has turned them into a side that can actually play and get good, consistent results against teams that normally you wouldn't expect them to beat. Since about 1998, Scotland have always flattered to deceive. They would get a few good results against teams, and of course the entire nation of Scotland would believe again, but ultimately they would always disappoint you. And of course they're coming up against Ukraine, who got rid of their manager Andriy Shevchenko, who was probably their best player of all time, after being absolutely slapped up by England in the Euros. But they've got some talented players in that squad, no doubt. Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, Yaremchuk, Malinovsky, Mikolenko, etc, etc. So they will give Scotland a game, probably one of the harder games they've had in the past 12 months. That being said, the way Scotland play as a unit and some of the players they've got in the squad, like McGinn, Robertson, Che Adams, I think they will just nick it. Game 2, Wales versus Austria. This one I'm really conflicted with because I just don't know whether these teams are good or average. They really ride that line for me. Wales' 2 best players, Ramsey and Bale, have major injury issues and they're not getting any younger. And Austria's best player, Marcel Sabitzer, has just been pretty much anonymous for Bayern Munich this season. That being said, Wales really turn up at home. They drew 1-1 against Belgium in November, and that game was at home. And I feel like the atmosphere in that stadium and the passion that the Welsh fans bring will just be too much for Austria to deal with, and I think they will also make the final. So for the Path A final, we have Wales versus Scotland. It will probably be the Millennium Stadium for a place in the World Cup. A great British derby. Now this is an interesting matchup because when you look at individual quality, Wales are better. They have Bale and Ramsey who can come up with that neat pass in between the lines, that worldy strike. And sometimes you need that to win the big games. In terms of team quality, overall, I think Scotland are better. That being said, the fact that this will be a home game for Wales means I think they'll do it. I think that passion, that fire from the Welsh supporters will get them over the line and they will play in the World Cup for the first time since I think 1958. As said before, Poland don't play Russia and they're already through to the final, so it's Sweden against the Czech Republic. This one is quite interesting because at least on paper they do look quite similar, but I slightly favour Sweden because at least in recent months they've got a lot more experience against top sides. They played Spain 3 times in 2021, winning 1, drawing 1 and losing 1, and they only lost that late into the game. That being said, they can come up with a bit of a stinker sometimes. They lost to Georgia, who are ranked 86th in the world. And no few Americans, that's not the state Georgia, that's the country Georgia, that I'm pretty sure you didn't even know fucking existed. I do think Sweden have got the better players. Forsberg, Elanga, Isak, Kulusevski, and I think that coupled with the fact that they are at home means they will get a result and go to the final. So the Path B final, Poland versus Sweden. They did actually play each other last year in the Euros and Sweden won 3-2. However, I think this result will be different. It will be at home. Poland will have the fans on their side who will be cheering them on. And when you look at that game in the Euros, Sweden was second best. Poland had more possession and more shots on goal. And I think that again coupled with the fact that they will be at home, means the pressure on Sweden will be massive, and I think Poland, thanks to Lewandowski and some other players, will go to the World Cup. Now, have to see. When both Portugal and Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup automatically, everyone realised that if they were drawn in the same path, that neither could qualify for the World Cup at the same time because they would face each other. We can be quite quick about this one. Italy are going to beat North Macedonia. North Macedonia are a decent side, but they are no match for Italy. Then it's Portugal versus Turkey. Turkey are a decent side, and I think they will make it hard for Portugal, but they will get the job done. So, for a place in the World Cup, Italy versus Portugal, the 4-time World Cup winners, the reigning European champions, against the team they took that crown off from. Italy have been quite poor since the Euros. They drew against Switzerland and they failed to beat Northern Ireland, which is ultimately why they're in this mess. And to be honest, they're lucky they didn't lose that game against Northern Ireland because they were the better team. Portugal are in a similar position. They haven't looked great. And you have a feeling that if they lose this game and fail to go to the World Cup, then that's it for Fernando Santos. And I think that would actually be bittersweet for Portugal fans because they don't like him. They think he's negative and defensive, and given they have so much attacking talent, I think they would rather a younger, more dynamic, attack-minded manager come in, because if they could and they did a good job, Portugal would be contenders for any major tournament, when right now you feel like they'll just flatter to deceive. That being said, I feel like the fact that they've got Ronaldo in their team, and I think when you look at their team sheet, they've got better players. The question is, can they work together? I don't think they will be able to. I think Italy will play better than them, but I think players like Ronaldo will step up and they will get the job done. Portugal will go through. Italy miss the second World Cup running. And now we move to CONCACAF. This is going to work differently to UEFA because the playoffs haven't started yet. It's still a round-robin format. Every team has still got 3 games left. I'm not going to go through every single team, just the teams that are in pole position to either qualify automatically or for the Intercontinental Playoff, which is in June. First up, Canada. They are top of the group on 25 points and are 4 points clear. Their 3 remaining games, they play Costa Rica away from home, Jamaica at home, and then Panama away. Their home form is excellent. They've played 6 games at home, they've won 5 and drawn 1, which gives them a win percentage of 83%. Their away form isn't as good. They've won 2 and drawn 3, but no losses, which gives them a 40% win percentage away from home, which is interesting given they play 2 of their 3 games away from home. That being said, you would expect them to beat Jamaica at home and find points elsewhere enough to qualify. Their form over the last 5 games is perfect. They've won all 5 games, and coach John Herdman, which is, flying the flag for England out in North America, is doing a very good job, you'd say. And it seems like Canada, who have been a bit of a sleeping giant status for a while now, are actually going to go onto the world stage for the first time in decades. Go Canada, you're going to Qatar. Next up, the USA, who are on 21 points. Their 3 games are Mexico away at the Azteca, Panama at home, and Costa Rica away. Their home form is identical to Canada, 5 wins and a draw, an 83% win percentage. However, their away form is bloody dreadful. 1 win, 2 draws, 2 losses. That's a win percentage of 20% away from home, which is a massive issue given 2 out of their remaining 3 games are away from home. And they're against Mexico. They've never beaten Mexico at the Azteca, and Costa Rica, who they've never beaten in Costa Rica. It's simple as they have to win. They have to get a win from somewhere. That will most likely come against Panama, but even then I'm not even sure 3 points will be enough to secure them that automatic qualifying spot. That being said, I do think they will get enough. I do understand why American fans are terrified though. Their form over the last 5 games haven't been particularly great. Win-loss, win-win, draw, and even then the wins they have picked up haven't been convincing. They haven't played particularly well. But like I said before, I do think they will get enough to get that automatic qualifying spot, and they will go to Qatar. Mexico are 3rd and are also on 21 points. Their next 3 games are the US at home, Honduras away, and El Salvador at home. Their home form has been pretty decent. 3 wins, 2 draws, no losses, and a 60% win percentage. Away form, not so good. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. That gives them a win percentage of 50%. Their form over the last 5 games is not great. Win, draw, win, loss, loss. And coach Tata Martino is under a bit of pressure because Mexico, they are an ageing side. They're not getting any younger, and I'm not sure what their youth setup is like, but I'm not sure if any kind of young, fresh, dynamic, young talent are good enough to be coming in yet. So I do understand why Mexico are fearing the worst. However, I do think they will actually have a quite easy run here. They've got the US at the Azteca, which I think they will win because they usually do, and then they've got Honduras and El Salvador. And it could be a really strong finish from Mexico. They could sweep all 3 games, win 9 points, easy, through to the World Cup. And in my lovely colourful notes here, I've got Panama written down, who are on 17 points. If you finish 4th, you go through to the Intercontinental Playoff, where pretty self-explanatory, you'll have a playoff against a team from another continent. We've got Honduras at home, the USA away, and Canada at home. Their home form's pretty good, 3 wins, 2 draws, no losses, 60% win percentage, and then their away form is pretty terrible, 2 wins, no draws, 4 losses, a 33% win percentage. Their form again ain't great, loss win, loss draw win. Costa Rica are 1 point behind Panama, and they also play 2 of their games at home and also play the USA and Canada. But I do think the fact that Panama are that 1 point ahead means that they will just nick that Intercontinental Playoff spot. So to conclude, I think Canada will finish 1st and qualify, Mexico will finish 2nd, the USA will finish 3rd, and then Panama will go through to the Intercontinental Playoff. And now finally, CONMEBOL. This is similar to CONCACAF, but they play 2 games instead of 3, 1 at home and 1 away. And 2 teams have already qualified, Brazil and Argentina, so it's a battle for 3rd and 4th place and for that 5th Intercontinental Playoff spot. In 3rd place, it's Ecuador, who are on 25 points. They play Paraguay away and Argentina at home. Their home form is pretty decent, 5 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss, a 67.8% win percentage. Their away form, pretty terrible, 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, a 25% win percentage. Their form over the last 5 games, not great, draw, 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 win, win. However, Paraguay are pretty terrible, they'll win that game. Argentina at home, they'll lose that game, but 28 points is enough for them, they'll go through to the World Cup. And in 4th, we have a resurgent Uruguay, who are on 22 points. Their 2 games are Peru at home and Chile away. Their home form is pretty good, 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, a 50% win percentage. And then their away form is identical to Ecuador, 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, a 25% win percentage. Their form over the last 5 games isn't great. Win-win, loss, 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 which is why I said resurgent, because their past 2 games have been pretty vital for them in terms of chasing qualification for the World Cup. Looking at their remaining 2 games, Peru at home and Chile away, I think they could find some difficulty here. I'm not sure they'll pick up a win here. Peru are also resurgent themselves. They're playing pretty decently. And Chile are a threat. That being said, I think they will find enough points from these 2 games to just about nick 4th. Occupying that 5th place Intercontinental spot is Peru. They play Uruguay away and Paraguay at home. Their home and away form is pretty bad. 3 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses at home gives them a 37.5% win percentage, and their away form of 3 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses gives them a 37.5 win percentage. Their form of the last 5 games is draw, win, win, draw, win, which is okay but could be worse. At least they're unbeaten in those games. And I think that game against Paraguay at home will see them secure that 5th place spot. It also helps that the team right behind them, Chile, play Brazil and Uruguay in their final 2 games, which they're fucked. So to conclude CONMEBOL, Brazil and Argentina finished 1st and 2nd respectively, Ecuador will finish 3rd, Uruguay in 4th, and Peru will nick that Intercontinental spot. Well, that's all my predictions for today. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I know I said that the first video on this channel will be a conspiracy one. I think that will be next. I'll get around to it at some point making that. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. My predictions, hopefully I'll be right, but you never know. I'll probably get at least some things wrong. Actually, that might be generous. Most things will probably be wrong. But I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.